12-year-old Zara crouched beside a large rusting metal bin behind the local Tesco Express. Not the fancy one in the city centre, but the dusty branch tucked away near the port. Her fingers trembled as she dug through plastic wrappers and soggy papers, looking for something, anything to eat. The stench would drive most people away, but to her, it was familiar. This was the same bin where 3 weeks ago she had found half a box of crackers, expired, but dry. Today, she wasn't as lucky. All she found were torn diapers and crushed cans. She turned to leave, her bare feet pressing against the gritty sand, when something shiny caught her eye. A rectangular object, partly buried under a damp piece of cardboard. It glinted. Curious, she reached down and pulled it out. It was smooth, cold to the touch, with a black screen and a silver back. An iPad. Zara had never held an iPad before. She had only seen them from afar. Glowing rectangles clutched by rich children in tea. As they passed her mother's former roadside akara stall, her reflection stared back at her in the blank screen. Dust clung to her cheeks, and her eyes were wide with disbelief. She wiped it on her wrapper and held down the button. Nothing happened. Dead, she murmured, disappointed. But something inside her sparked. The kind of curiosity that had long been buried beneath survival. What was a thing like this doing here? Who threw it away? She shoved the iPad into her nylon bag and darted away from the bin. The other children might fight her for it if they saw. That night, she showed it to Mama Tope, the kind woman who sold bean cakes near the bus park, and let Zara sleep on the woven mat outside her kiosk. Don't sell it yet, Mama Tope warned after examining it. There may be something in it. Maybe someone rich is looking for it. Zara nodded. She couldn't explain it, but something told her this iPad was more than a piece of junk. It was a door, a key, a beginning. The next day, Mama Tope gave her 200 naira to visit a phone repairman named Uncle Bassi. His shop was tucked in a wooden stall squeezed between 2 yellow buses. He raised his brow when Zara handed him the device. "Where did you steal this?" he asked. "I didn't steal it. I found it in the trash." He didn't believe her, not at first, but he plugged it in anyway. The Apple logo lit up like magic. Zara's heart skipped. After a few minutes, the screen loaded to the lock screen. A wallpaper photo of a little white girl with bright curly hair and a tiara, grinning on a playground. Underneath, it read, "If found, please contact my mum. +44 7906 889 432. A UK number." Uncle Bassi chuckled. "You lucky girl." Zara took a deep breath. Her hands trembled as she copied the number onto a sheet of paper. Something inside her, a voice, maybe God, whispered that this would change everything. They went to Mama Tope's kiosk, where she had a small Nokia phone that sometimes worked for international calls. Zara's heart pounded. Her fingers trembled as she slowly dialed the number she had copied from the iPad screen. It rang. Once, twice, a third time. Then, "Hello?" A woman's voice, soft, British. Zara hesitated, her tongue dry. "Hello. Is this the mother of the girl in the iPad picture?" There was silence. Then, cautious urgency. "Yes, this is Lucy. Who is this? Where are you calling from?" Zara took a deep breath. "My name is Zara. I found your daughter's iPad in a trash bin in Nigeria." The silence on the line thickened. Then the woman gasped. "Oh my God, you found it? We've been searching for weeks. That iPad is everything to my daughter. She's only 7, nonverbal. It has all her therapy videos and her stories. She can't sleep without it." Zara blinked, stunned. "Nonverbal. You didn't sell it?" the voice asked again. The woman sounded like she was crying. You're a good girl. Thank you. Thank you so much. Zara didn't know what to say. She had never spoken to a white woman before. She had never made someone cry with kindness. It felt like light was filling her chest. I'll send someone. We'll arrange something. Please don't worry. You've done more than you can imagine. 3 days later, a courier arrived at the bus park. He was carrying a brown envelope addressed to Zara. Hair of Mama Tope. Inside was a phone, a letter, and 200,000 naira in cash. The letter read, Zara, thank you. My name is Lucy. I'm Emily's mum. You don't know what this means to us. My daughter Emily doesn't speak, but when we showed her your photo, she smiled for the first time in a week. You are a hero. If you agree, we would like to fly you to London to meet Emily and also offer you a scholarship through our family foundation. Zara clutched the letter to her chest. Her breath caught. She turned to Mama Tope, her voice cracking. They want to fly me to London. Mama Tope stared, speechless. Then she hugged Zara tight. God has remembered you, my daughter. For the first time in a long time, Zara cried, not because of hunger or pain, but because of hope. It took 3 weeks to arrange the paperwork. The UK embassy granted her a special visitor visa. The foundation handled her passport, tickets, and even bought her 2 new dresses. On the day of her flight, the entire bus park gathered to wave goodbye. Even the Agboros paused to clap. It was as if the streets themselves were proud. On the plane, she sat by the window. She watched the sky turn from blue to velvet. She didn't sleep. She couldn't. When she landed at Heathrow, a woman in a beige coat and teary eyes ran forward to hug her. You must be Zara, Lucy said. Yes, Ma. Next to her stood a little girl in a sparkly pink jacket. The girl from the iPad wallpaper. She looked up at Zara and smiled. Zara knelt and held her hand. It was warm, real, familiar. She didn't need words. Zara spent 2 months in London. She lived in the guest room of the family's home in Kensington. It felt like a movie. Every corner had warm lights, soft carpets, and shelves of books. Emily would sit beside her every morning and watch cartoons. Sometimes she'd giggle. Other times, she'd rest her head on Zara's shoulder. Lucy enrolled her in a local school, just for fun. Zara caught on quickly, especially in maths and reading. Her teachers said she was gifted. One evening, Lucy sat her down. Zara, how would you feel about staying here for school? We'd like to sponsor your education, permanently. Only if you want, of course. Zara couldn't speak. Her throat tightened. She nodded. And just like that, her life had turned a page. Cold, white, beautiful ones. That night, she wrote in her journal, Snow feels like the opposite of hunger. Her English improved rapidly. So did her confidence. She started baking cookies with Lucy. She learned to fold laundry neatly. She even taught Emily how to carry a bucket on her head, just for fun. Emily still didn't speak, but she lit up around Zara. They shared a bond that didn't need words. One evening, Lucy took her to a dinner hosted by the family's charity, the Haven Project, which supported displaced girls from around the world. Zara was overwhelmed by the glittering chandeliers, the clicking heels, and the soft piano music. When Lucy asked her to say a few words on stage, Zara froze. Then Emily held her hand. Zara walked up and spoke slowly, nervously. My name is Zara Adeboye. A few months ago, I lived under a bridge. I found an iPad in the trash. I could have sold it, but I didn't. I gave it back, and that changed everything. There was C. Applause. Someone stood, then another, then the whole room. That night, donors pledged over £200,000 to support girls like Zara. One chilly Saturday afternoon, Lucy handed Zara a new phone. Someone wants to talk to you. Zara answered. The voice was deep, warm, and cracked with emotion. Zara, it's Uncle Sunday, your mother's brother. Zara gasped. She hadn't heard his voice in years. After her mother died, the family scattered. He had tried to find her, but Lagos swallowed the poor like coins in a gutter. "I saw you on the internet," he said. "I cried. I prayed. I thought you were gone forever." Zara wept. They talked for over an hour. Afterward, Lucy sat beside her and whispered, "We can help him too, if you'd like." Zara hugged her and nodded. "Let's build a bridge back to where I came from." By spring, Zara had adjusted to British life. She had her own school uniform, her own locker, her own room decorated with glow-in-the-dark stars. She didn't just survive anymore, she blossomed. One day, she received a parcel from Nigeria. Inside was a red wrapper, a pair of handmade slickers, and a note from Mama Tope. "You gave me hope. I tell your story to every girl who wants to give up. You are proof that kindness returns with wings." Zara clutched the note and cried. She knew she had to give back, not one day, but now. That night she scribbled the words, "I hope, from one girl to a million." It was the start of her dream, a project to distribute refurbished devices to girls in Africa, helping them learn, connect, and rise. At 13, Zara had already spoken at 2 school events, been featured on BBC Africa, and received a letter from the Mayor of London. But she didn't let it get to her head. Instead, she spent most evenings reading by Emily's side, helping her with touch apps on a new iPad, the one Zara gifted her on her 8th birthday. "You helped me talk," Emily typed one day on her speech app. "You're my sister." Zara broke into tears. Lucy later said, "Zara, you've done more for my daughter than doctors ever could." But Zara only smiled. "I just gave her what the world forgot to give me: attention, patience, love." By the time Zara turned 14, she barely recognized herself. Her skin glowed with health. Her hair was in neat braids. She wore a blazer with a school crest stitched in gold thread. Not rags. Her lunchbox was filled with strawberries and little sandwiches, not scavenged crackers. But every now and then, she'd look in the mirror and whisper to herself, "Don't forget where you came from." She never did. Each Sunday, she would send voice notes to Mama Tope, telling her about her classes and the British rain. She even mailed gifts, solar lamps, school books, small radios. The woman who once gave her floor space was now being honored as Community Mother of the Year in Lagos, thanks to Zara's nomination. Zara was building more than a life. She was building legacy. That winter, the Haven Project hosted a televised gala at the Royal Albert Hall. Zara was asked to give the keynote speech. She wore a navy gown and flat shoes. Her fingers trembled behind the curtain. Lucy squeezed her shoulder. "Just tell them the truth." When Zara stepped into the spotlight, the room hushed. "I come from a place where dreams die early, where bins are buffets, where girls disappear quietly. But I didn't disappear. I found an iPad. I returned it. That iPad wasn't magic, but kindness was." She paused. "You see, kindness is a small key that unlocks mighty gates. Someone was kind to me, and now I have the chance to be kind to others." The crowd stood. Some cried. Some clapped for 5 straight minutes. Zara was invited to Buckingham Palace to meet the Princess of Wales. Not out of pity, but respect. In the palace garden, Zara sat under a cherry blossom tree with 5 other young changemakers. "You don't need a title to lead," the princess told them. "You need courage." Zara nodded. Her courage came from cardboard bins, from hunger that didn't swallow her spirit, from the memory of her mother holding her close during rainy nights. By now, her program I Hope had helped 400 girls in Nigeria receive free tablets and internet access. Some used them to start businesses. Others returned to school. Every time a girl opened her tablet and found the word I Hope blinking on the screen, Zara smiled quietly in her heart. She was no longer the girl under the bridge. She was the bridge. At 17, Zara stepped off a plane in Lagos, not in rags, but in a navy blue jumpsuit with the I Hope logo printed on her chest. Journalists waited. So did a crowd of local girls, each holding signs that read, "Welcome home, Zara." She didn't head to a hotel. She asked to go straight to a Jeganli. The streets smelled the same. The wind carried the same dust. But this time, she wasn't searching the trash. She was building a learning center beside the very bin where she found the iPad. She opened it with Mama Tope at her side. That night, Zara gathered 50 young girls under the glow of solar lamps at the new center. She told them her story, but not the polished version. She told them about nights when her belly cried louder than her mouth, about days when she thought she'd never matter. Then, she held up a battered iPad, the original one, now framed behind glass. "This was never just a gadget," she said. "It was a test. I passed because I chose honesty. I chose kindness. I chose to believe that doing the right thing still matters, even when no one is watching." The girls clapped. Some cried. Some simply stared, wide-eyed, dreaming of their own iPad moment. By the time Zara turned 20, she was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. Oprah invited her to speak. Michelle Obama sent her a handwritten letter. But she didn't change her voice. She didn't move to Hollywood or forget her roots. She still answered calls from her old teachers in Lagos, still visited Mama Tope on Christmas Day, still paid for surgeries and school fees anonymously. And she never stopped telling the world one thing: kindness is never wasted. Never, even if it doesn't come back immediately, it always circles back. When reporters asked what she wanted next, she simply said, "I want every girl in Africa to feel seen. Not one of us should be left in the dark." On her 21st birthday, Zara stood on the same stage where she once froze. She wasn't just a guest speaker now. She was chair of the I Hope Global Fund, with operations in 14 countries. Emily sat in the front row, clapping fiercely. Zara looked out at the crowd and smiled. "I was a girl the world threw away, until someone believed I was worth returning." She paused, her voice thick with emotion. "Today, I want every girl, from the streets of Nigeria to the snow of Scotland, to know your story isn't over. Your beginning might be small, but your ending can be mighty. Don't lose hope, ever." The room stood. Zara stood taller.